Yeah. OK, let's talk about Sue Gray, shall we? She says she's quit. It's quite clear she was ousted. Is this an example of Sir Keir Starmer finally being ruthless?
Look, Sue is a dedicated public servant, both for the Keir Starmer and as a civil servant before her. And she can't defend herself in the media if she's not a politician. So I want to say thank you for what she's done. But it's obviously right that the Prime Minister can try and make sure that he's got the team that he needs in number 10 so that he can deliver for the whole country.
Was preventing him from delivering for the whole country and wasn't the right team. Was she presiding over the chaos behind closed doors at number 10?
I honestly think the public's not terribly interested in this kind of gossip about what happens within number 10. They're just interested in a government that delivers, and that's what I think we'd be doing.
Well, except with respect, I mean, she was paid more than the Prime Minister, funded by the taxpayer, and a lot of people are saying the first 100 days or so in power have been a disaster. So I would argue that the British public are extremely interested on what's gone on behind closed doors. Perhaps you might be more willing to divulge a bit about what we can expect from Morgan McSweeney, who's now taken over in that role of Chief of Staff, but has almost unprecedented control of both Downing Street and the Treasury.
Firstly, I don't at all accept in the first 100 days that this government has been a disaster. We've made real progress across a whole range of issues that really make a difference to my constituents in Lincoln. Whether that's a pay rise for the junior doctors at Lincoln Hospital, stopping the previous government's terrible plans for Scampton, ending no fault evictions under the Renters Bill. We've been making progress across a whole range of areas, so I don't think I accept the question.
In the same week, forgive me, announcing millions of pensioners would be without a winter fuel payment this winter. And the same week that you gave inflation-busting pay rises to train drivers who are already on £70,000, not a resounding success. This week alone, we've heard about the Chagos Islands being handed away. We've got UK forces on red alert after Argentina have now vowed to recapture the islands. And your flagship policy on private schools seems to be in tatters. You think this has been a success, do you?
I do think it's been a success. I think it's been full of difficult choices which reflect the difficult inheritance that we've got as we become the government. But I think Keir Starmer and the rest of the government is getting on with the job that the British public elected us to do.
The British public didn't elect the government to introduce these winter fuel payments. You got no mandate for that. In fact, you've kept very quiet on it altogether, which is why it's so problematic for the British public.
Well, I think on the winter fuel allowance, we've been pretty clear that we inherited a worse fiscal position than we expected. The OBR has said so.
Yes, but we've also heard that you've got more headroom coming from the Bank of England with which you get to choose how you spend it. And as you say, this is about political choices, and you're choosing to use it to make inflation-busting pay rises whilst taking money away from pensioners.
So in terms of the headroom that the Bank of England says might be coming on October the 30th, the Chancellor will set out the budget. And in relation to the winter fuel allowance, look, no government would want to make these kind of choices, but we had to make in-year cuts. And we're taking steps to try and make sure the very most vulnerable are protected.
Foreign Office Minister there. Thanks very much indeed.
Well, that was entertaining.
I would suggest that one of the first jobs that Morgan McSweeney does is choose a better candidate for the morning round, because that was excruciating, and I've interviewed a lot of politicians
I thought
of a morning.
I thought you were speaking far too much. You were very lucky to get a word in edgeways there.
Yeah.
So you were. He was